The Get Better podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants. Please remember to gamble responsibly.
Calves are activated. Nice tempo, but it will all change on the real strip.
Welcome to Get Better for June 9th. I'm Troy Gubb. I'm here with Luke Boone. Luke, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm excited for today. We're going to revisit another theory that came up on an earlier podcast, our MLB podcast. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that one, circle back and have a little listen to that. But we're going to dive a little bit deeper into another theory for MLB, which I'm really excited about. I was excited when I first read this one. And I know we wanted to circle back and dig a little bit deeper into it. So I'm excited to do that today. I'm really excited to test this one out. But first, before we do that, as we did with the last podcast, let's update a little bit on the NHL playoffs. You and I, the friendly wager, conference finals.
I had to bring that up, eh?
Yeah, but truthfully, for the both of us, it's actually really not impressive in terms of our ability to pick who we think is going to make the conference finals.
It's actually pretty embarrassing how bad we've done.
Yeah, well, let's give some credit to us though. There's been, and I think I said there's going to be some upsets. The upsets that happen, I'm not sure maybe we had predicted them.
Yeah.
But I guess in terms of where we sit right now, I've got a lock in for the conference finals in Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay, I've got one on the board.
I got none.
Yeah,
and one bullet left in the chamber with Colorado.
Yeah, so we've got Colorado and Vegas tomorrow night. Vegas is leading that series by 1. So up against it, if Vegas gets it done tomorrow, that's it. I walk away victorious.
I'm looking for I'm begging for a push. For a push here.
That's basically what it is. It's either a push or I'm victorious. But I think when you go back to it, of the potential number of teams we could have picked, we landed on 2 that are gonna make it. Maybe 2. Like that's it. We landed on 2. Yeah. Just goes to show you how difficult it is. Like when you're thinking about
don't ride the favorites, I guess, right?
Well, yeah, don't ride the favorites for sure. But I think when you think about building that bracket, like how tough is it to be perfect on that bracket?
It's hard.
It's really hard. It's really, really difficult.
Who had Montreal? King of the North.
Some crazy Montreal fans for sure.
And then, just to update quickly on the zigzag. So as we go through round 2, tough start on the zigzag theory. Vegas, it started hot. Like Vegas come back. They were down 2-0. They hit that third one for us, which is great. Jets, nope. What I found out about the zigzag theory, that didn't really walk into it. Again, you're really only playing games 2, 3, and if there's a possible sweep.
Yeah.
The way the zigzag theory is completely flawed is when it just zigs and there is no zag. So when it's a straight sweep, like Montreal beating the Jets, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. Yeah. So we took a few L's there. In the NBA, the Bucks game 2 didn't happen. And the 76ers, yes, they battled back. So that was the scenario of home team, heavy favorite, loses the first game.
Right.
Game 2, come back. Great one to pick, not only just on the money line, but against the spread. And the 76ers did that last night and then some. So
where do we sit total on the zigzag?
So just watching the 2 and 3 as they've happened over the last week, we're 2 for 3.
2 for 3. So not great. Super small sample size there.
Small sample size.
Yeah, we got to play this one out a little bit more. Yeah, I don't think we can actually make a true judgment call on this. And quite honestly,
we'll watch that.
Maybe what we do is let's continue to roll this out throughout the remainder of the playoffs for both the NHL and the NBA. But maybe what we do is even go back to round 1 of both the NHL and NBA and look at what the potential results would have been. Totally. So you get a full sample size of a playoff. Because this is really the only time to bet the zigzag theory is in that when you've got best of 7 series. Yeah. So maybe we'll do that and get a proper judgment on what that really looks like.
So exciting to get back to baseball. We had teed this one up, as you said earlier. What we were waiting for was the data, right? You need some data before you put the Tony STOFFO theory into play. What we'll do today is we'll take you again through the criteria necessary to find the bet. I kind of like it in a way. It's a lot of work, but at the same time, it feels very logical. Like you're hunting for specific scenarios to bet on. So we'll go through those scenarios with you. We'll tell you what's on the docket for tomorrow and where we are going to be placing our bets.
Yeah. So, and I guess just to set this up, the Tony Stoffo theory is you're basically betting on the underdog. It is an underdog theory for MLB baseball. And I did touch on it a little bit in that MLB podcast in terms of what it's all about. But essentially, you're trying to find those underdogs that are ultimately not complete long shots that have a realistic chance and opportunity of winning a game. So how Tony does it, he breaks it down by a couple of different steps. And so, Tony Stoffo, he's actually a writer for Vegas Insider. He's got a great article on vegasinsider.com. Recommend checking it out. If you just look it up, Tony Stoffo, would be good to
I didn't want to know.
A peek at that.
I didn't want to know he was so successful. I was really hoping it was like some underground, just local guy that like worked the Vegas scene, worked the bookies, and just won and wrote a book.
No, Tony's a real deal. But actually,
he's a real
in
deal.
the
He
article,
sounds professional.
Yeah, in the article, it's interesting. Like, I don't know if he's just taken this theory, but he talks about meeting some guy in Vegas named Alex. And Alex was the one that shared this kind of model and theory with him. And it sounds like Alex lives a fantastic life because he wakes up in the morning and he spends 15 minutes to figure out his picks for the day. Then he plays a round of golf, comes back, and he's at home with the family by like mid-afternoon. So,
The dream.
yeah, that sounds like a fantastic gig. And he's making, I think it said he banks about, $20,000 a month throughout the course of the MLB season. Again, that's all relative to whatever your bankroll is. We're going to talk a little bit about that.
When you've been doing
right?
this since the 60s, right? Everything's great.
The 60s.
I'm dating Tony right now. Like I don't know how old he is actually.
But I think that's a valid point too, because the theory has been around for a long time. Like this article that was written by Tony, long time ago. Talking like 2004, long ago. So it'll be interesting to see actually how it still plays out. I think there's still a lot of validity to it.
Yeah. Seems rational.
It does. Totally seems rational. And it's worth giving a shot and see how it plays out. I get that obviously baseball and the game has changed a lot in terms of batting percentages and things like that, pitching, the whole bit. There's a lot that has changed and evolved from the game of baseball. But I really like the theory. I like the principles behind it. It makes a lot of sense to me. So let's put it to the test.
So step one, what do we got for step one?
So step one, the first thing you need to do, you wake up in the morning, you're going to look at the American National League schedules, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to look at those money line odds, and you're going to eliminate any of the games where the money line odd on that specific underdog is greater than plus 150. So anything for that underdog plus 150, you're going to get rid of them. That means
no heavy dogs.
Massive long shot, massive long shot, unlikely for them to win that game. So that's the first thing you do. Where do we sit? So we've done the work. So where we sit on that?
So we have 5 games that meet that criteria for tomorrow. We got the Brewers at Cincinnati, Philly at Atlanta, Boston at Houston, Jays at the White Sox, and Oakland and KC. So 5 games meet that criteria.
Perfect. Okay, sounds good. And we should mention there's a couple games on schedule that haven't actually been released yet. So we're working what we got. I think we got 7 of the 10 games.
Spoiler! You let him into a secret.
Well, I just want to make sure we're being legit here. I want to get called out if one of these games pops up and they're like, "Hey, man,
that game was on there."
In the mix.
Damn, you guys get better.
Exactly. I'm just trying to be honest with the listeners here.
It's good for you. You did so much integrity.
Step number 2. Of the games that remain, so now that you've gone through that process, you figured out, you can eliminate any of the games where the underdog has lost 3 or more games in a row, as well as the favorite has either won 3 or more games in a row. So that's the next step. You can look at those underdogs, see what their streak looks like. Same thing done for the favorites.
So
where we at?
Totally avoiding teams on a heater and don't want to ride teams that are cold as a
Nice.
Yeah, good analogy. That's right.
Great analogy.
So when I'm looking at this, so Cincinnati and the Brewers were fine there. No big streaks either side. Philly, Atlanta, we are good, so that's still alive. Boston, Houston, we're still good. Jays and the White Sox, we're still good. However, Oakland and KC has lost 4 in a row. So we are eliminating KC from the criteria, and they're out. So we're down to 4 teams available.
Bye-bye KC. Down to four potential bets here. Okay. So step number 3 in the process, we're going to take a deeper dive into the pitchers. So first thing you're going to do is eliminate any games in which the favored team's pitcher sits among the top 20 in ERA for both the AL and the NL. So that's the next steps. You're going to dive deeper into the stats, look at the pitchers of those favorite teams who sit in the top 20. Where are we at?
So I'm looking at Peralta. He is sitting in the top 20. So that eliminates the Brewers in Cincinnati. We got Wheeler sitting in the top 20, 16th. So that eliminates Philly and Atlanta from the betting. However, we got 2. We have Rodriguez and Ryu both available.
Okay, so Eduardo Rodriguez and Ryu keeps us alive with 2 potential games. So that takes us to step number 4. So basically on what the next step in terms of what we do. So on the day, full slate of games, you should be left with roughly about 2 to 3 games. We've got 2 left here.
Yeah.
So now the next step is really about placing the wagers. This is when it comes down to kind of that bankroll management and figuring out what you're going to do. So you've identified the games you're going to bet on. Tony here recommends making a $20 wager. I think you just have to figure out what your bankroll is, what you're comfortable with. And the one thing to keep in mind is, we've got 2 games we can wager on here. But we could be in a situation where we have somewhere from 7, 8, 9 potential games that we're betting on. So if you're placing a $20 wager on all those games, and let's say it's 7 games and 6 of them you lose, you've decimated your bankroll. And if you don't have the bankroll to back it up for the next day, the theory basically is null and void because now you're having to put more money in the account and it doesn't work. So you've got to think about that and identify what makes sense from a wager perspective in terms of what you're looking at from day to day. So for it might be different for everybody. On a day where you've got 7, you might scale back and only wager 10 versus 20 a game. So it really sort of depends on what that bankroll looks like for every individual and how they want to manage that bankroll through this process.
Yeah, it's again, I kind of like that whole. I've ever since we've kind of started this podcast, I become a proportional bettor. Like it's always 10% of my bankroll. So I'm never, extending myself too far. You don't go too crazy with the highs and not too crazy with the lows. So I'm kind of in that 10% of your bankroll. But Tony seems to go even lower. But it seems like Tony's got a lot more money than I do.
Maybe there's a good chance that Tony's bankroll's a little bit more padded than yours and I. But I agree with you on that. Actually, it's funny because before we started this podcast, like you didn't put a lot of thought into bankroll management. You just got a little carried away and excited, like, hey, I want to bet on this game. Bet on this game. You wanted to sort of build some excitement for your night of sports watching. And oftentimes you'd end up chasing too, right? So you bet an early game and lose, and I'm gonna do it. You always end up chasing. Yeah. I've become way more disciplined now, after having gone through this podcast, a lot of the education, a lot of learning, understanding the benefits of bankroll management, how it works, and it really comes down to like patience and not being greedy, right? Totally. Like if you're into sports betting as a retirement plan to get rich, you better be a mathematician to some degree. You better be willing to put in an immense amount of work and really understand it. And it almost has to be a full-time job, a risky one at that. But if you're doing it as casual for fun, and it's great, it's a lot of fun to make a couple bucks here and there, the bankroll management is so key. And being patient with it and not getting carried away. For me, it's definitely made a big difference. I'm with you on that.
We've both gotten better. Like we have. I'm not even joking around. Yeah, it's true. Just because of this podcast, we've gotten better. So
it's true. I can confidently say that after starting this podcast, I've been in the green. I have been in the green and stayed in the green. I feel really good about that.
Hey, I'm in the green, but I might be riding a really ridiculous March Madness pinata pick that got me there. But I'm still happy with it.
True. Yeah, but you know what? You need a little luck every now and then too. I mean, you do get carried away with the pinata picks. That's a whole other conversation for another day. Another day. As tempting and juicy as those odds may be, there's just zero strategy to that. Horrendous bankroll management.
But one day they get ahead. So I think that wraps up kind of everything around the Tony STOFFO theory. He does have another sort of advanced layer he likes to add while they're going through the games. If he sees two pitchers that are in the top 20, betting an under on those two.
Another layer. They're pitching against each other. So the two teams where both pitchers are in the top 20. I actually kind of like that, to be honest with you.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
but
you do have to be willing to put the time in. You got to find your sources and figure out, where you're going to pull your stats from, what that looks like. So there's a bit of a system and a process to that. If you're going to do that sort of every morning, is jump on and look at, okay, here's how I'm going to run this theory and see how it pans out. But like I said, like everything we just talked about sounds very plausible, right? Like it makes a lot of sense to me in terms of putting in that work and effort and why you would test this theory out. So I'm excited about this. I'm gonna run with this and test it out for a little bit and see how we do.
Let's see it,
because I think it's a good one. So that's two podcasts back to back where we've touched on two different theories. I kind of like this. I like building those theories. It gives you something that you can kind of build some validation around. Yeah. So,
you don't get too carried away. It's good to come back to a nice system like that. So versus just like, I feel like betting tonight.
So we're gonna have a couple podcasts here. We're gonna have to update on these two theories in terms of zigzag as well as the Tony STOFFO underdog theory. So I'm excited about doing that and seeing how things pan out.
So I think that wraps it up. I know we do have some little housekeeping. We were talking about the golf.
Yes,
we finally got a date booked.
Round one
of 5. Took a while to get here. I was able to get a few more rounds in. And June 26th, it looks like, will be our first of 5 for the 100.
Yes, first of 5. And you played, I think, this past weekend.
I did.
I guess your buddy who was playing with you slid us some sneak footage.
Yeah, there was a leak on the course. I felt like TMZ was there. They captured some footage that obviously not the most ideal. Shows a little bit of we'll say holes in my game. Here I'm gonna try to roll it for you.
Let's bring this up and let's have a quick look. And obviously, if you're tuned in the podcast, you're listening. Check it out on social or on YouTube. You'll be able to catch Troy's swing here. And he's just bringing it up right now so we can have a quick peek at this.
Can you see this okay?
Yeah, looks beautiful. Nice course here. Where are you at? Where are you playing?
This is we're at Glen Cedars right here. Yeah. Nice track. You can see this is my cart.
Beautiful.
I'm walking up. I'm playing from the whites. Nice get up.
Strong looks. The salmon colored shorts.
Big salmon guy.
Yeah, really. Yeah, nice color. Salmon colored shorts sitting about. Those look like maybe 7-inch shorts right above the kneecap.
Oh, yeah,
those look pretty solid. This is a strong look for you. Perfect. With the black shirt, the black hat. Everything right now looks positive. They actually look like you're about to set up and so let's run this one. Let's see where we go from here.
So we'll just let it play it out once, okay?
Let's get a little look at it.
All right, calves are activated.
Good practice.
Nice tempo, but it will all change on the real stroke.
Oh God!
And there it is. Deactivated calves, chunk, bush.
All right.
Ooh, only getting worse.
There is so much great about this video.
There's a lot to digest.
There's a lot.
Breaking 100, unlikely.
Let's just be clear here. Like there were. Hold on, I'll go back to it for a second. Can you see it again? You still see it?
No, it's down.
Hold on here. Let me go back to the.
But there's a lot going on. Really quickly, first thing I pick up is there's not a lot of commitment between the practice swing to the real deal. The practice swing actually isn't too bad. It's maybe a little quick. The head comes up a little early on that, and I by no means am a swing coach by any stretch of the imagination here. But it's the commitment between the practice to the real deal is a little off.
So here's what I'll say. Like, first of all, we're on an elevated tee. It's going off to the right, kind of dogleg rights here. I know I was aiming to the left. It went hard left, really hard left, right into a tree. As you can hear, about 4 seconds after I hit it, a nice big loud pop. It was also really close to where the other green was. So there were the folks that had vehicles that were right there. So nobody got hurt. I should have said 4. There's a lot wrong there. There's a lot wrong.
The story afterwards was great. Quite honestly, the sequence of the entire thing is fantastic. The strike of the golf ball.
Pull it. Like, okay, hold on. Get my back straight. Good warm up. Oh yeah, look. Oh,
not a bad practice.
Not bad. And then things fall apart here. Like, I don't like how I finish. Like, I'm looking at this pose here. I feel like that doesn't look like McIlroy.
No, well, the very first problem that you have here is all of your weight is on your back foot. And quite honestly, for you to hit the ball left with all your weight on your back foot, like, maybe this was a hosel rocket. Like, I'm not sure.
What?
Not a hosel rocket. Having not been there,
what's a hosel rocket?
It's not good. Let's just say that. That means
I've never heard this term before.
So the hosel rocket is basically you miss the club face altogether and you hit the hosel. You hit the ball with the hosel of the club. And basically the hosel is
the shaft?
Kind of. Like, it's the part of the club head that's connecting to the shaft. But basically, to me, and again, like I said, I am no golf expert. I enjoy the game a lot. I've played a fair amount, but you definitely should never end with your weight on your back foot. You need to get through that golf ball. Your weight should be on your front foot. So yeah, there's some challenges there, but your practice swing was a lot better. Like, I felt like your weight was on the front, front foot. Like, you got through it a little bit better. Your head came up a little quick. Yeah. But yeah, there's something, I guess, between that practice swing, even tempo was a little bit better too. Your practice swing and the point where you also sway a little bit in your back. Like, you really.
I like how I finish here though. Like, my finish looks great on this one. Like, I feel like I'd be happy with that. But yeah, like, swing. I'm looking at the swing here. I'm like, what kind of finish is this, man?
Yeah, you almost look like a baseball swing or something.
It was a really bad swing.
Yeah, it kind of.
I shot a 9 on this hole. An honest 9.
Because
I was in a bad spot,
and then
I took my my 4 and put it right across the other woods. So
hey man, you were one away from the full rack. So
this is my favorite part though. Listen for the actual tree.
Oh God!
And there it is. Deactivated.
Oh God!
Chunk. Bush.
Tree. Sorry.
Only getting
that sequence. That sequence is probably extremely relatable to a lot of amateur golfers. Yeah. We've all been there. We've all shanked one, hit a hosel rocket, sent it to a tree, had to yell for, maybe missed yelling for, get there. Sorry. That whole bit, we've all been there.
When's the last time you put a 9 on the card, Luke?
I don't know. That's a good question. Truthfully, I haven't played a lot of golf in the last few years. There's a good chance next time we play, I put a 9 on the card. Damn right. Somewhere.
June 26th, bud.
Somewhere.
Game
down
1
the
of
road.
5.
That's why I'm really happy. Like I said before, I'm really happy that this isn't a straight up match with you and I. And quite honestly, it's just about you trying to break 100. So I can play as poorly as I really like, and maybe that's a good thing if I hit some really brutal shots and put some bad swing thoughts into your mind. So there's definitely some work to be done. So you've got 2 weeks before round 1. We've got 5 in the books. Yeah, 9s on the scorecard are going to make it tough to get it done.
Can't have any of that garbage out there. No hosel knockets. What did you call them? Hazel rocket?
Hazel rocket. A Hazel rocket.
What is it?
Yeah, a Hazel rocket.
Okay.
Yeah, those won't do in trying to in your conquest to break 100.
But we're
So
ready.
I'm feeling after a couple weeks ago, having played with you in the colored golf balls, between that and the leaked footage of the golf swing as of last week, I'm feeling pretty good about this right now. I won't lie. I'm feeling pretty good. Unless you're slow playing me here.
Big
Unless
time.
you might
This
be
is
slow
full on
playing me
Top
here.
Gun. Got to bring him in closer. Bring him in closer. Hit the brakes. Going to fly right by. Got it. Big.
I love it. June 26th is the date. Round
wait.
1. We're going to play. We're going to capture some content, some footage. We're going to share it with you guys. And we'll see where we sit. I find it really hard to believe that after round 1, I'm going to be buying a Jacob's steak dinner.
Let's see it.
But let's see where we go from here. So, fun update on that one. Lots more to come on the golf front. It is summertime. It's warm out. It's good time to be golfing. So we're gonna be doing some more of that. Other than that, we'll update you guys on the 2 theories we're gonna run over the next little bit.
Tony, let's go, buddy. Big day tomorrow.
Yeah, big day for Tony. That's day 1. We'll see how we
Day
do.
1 of
Hopefully we
Tony's
fare a little bit
theories.
better than we have on the zigzag earlier. So. All right, I think that's a wrap.
That's it.
We'll catch you guys in the next one.